And Merry Christmas, everybody.
This year I really wanted to have something up for Christmas.
Although it kind of flew by, so I decided to renovate one of the starter homes in Willow Creek. So I originally planned to keep this as a starter, but since I still wanted to have it as a 2-bedroom, and I actually decided to have this as a limited pack build, this only has the base game, the holiday pack, and seasons. And so I decided that since it is a limited pack build, it was already limited in that aspect, so I decided that I wouldn't keep it as a starter. But I believe that this ends up being 30 or just under 30,000 simoleons, which I think is probably not a bad price for a house. I hope so anyway, because it is a 2-bedroom house, so you could actually have up to 3 sims in here as it is, or if you decided to make the bedroom have bunk beds or something similar, you could have 4 sims with no problem in here. At one point I tried to shrink it in an effort to save some of the money, but I ended up deciding against it when I decided not to have a budget. So you might see that at some point it is slightly shorter. So yeah. I also decided to use all of the new stuff that we have gotten recently, and well, I say recently, but it's been probably, I don't know, a year? I can't remember. It's been a year since some of the decorations that we got from the login event thing. We already have another login rewards. We have some more login rewards from an event, and they are also supposed to be holiday themed, but they are more tropical in a sense, and I would really like to know what you think about that, because I am not the biggest fan of some of the rewards. Some are alright, I do like some of them. They aren't mind-blowing or anything, but they are fine, and they are stuff that is nice to have. But yeah, the whole SpongeBob collaboration thing, it just, I don't know, it feels weird, and with the whole sale and everything else, I just feel like it was terrible timing. I decided to open one of the rooms in here, since I always felt that the primary bedroom in this house was way too big, and for some reason it doesn't have a wall, which it totally could have a wall. It is a pretty cheap house. I think it's only about 15 or 13,000 simoleons. So yeah, it's just weird that it doesn't have a wall in there, so I added the wall, and I decided to actually make that into 2 bedrooms, and even after that I shrunk it, as I mentioned, and I decided to open up one of the child's bedroom and instead have sort of an office nook in there. At some point I tried to have an archway leading into that, but I also decided against that because it felt more interesting to me to have one of the columns that I was using on the outside of this. I really like those columns. They look pretty load-bearing, I suppose. I thought that it looked nice. They are also very nice in the corners of the building, so I prefer that over the original sort of painted on columns on the wallpaper that this house used to have. I decided to have the same wallpaper but without those columns or trim or whatever you want to call it. This is going to be a bit all over the place because that's the way that I build when I have a budget. So you might see that right now we have some columns, and I already made some changes to the bathroom. I decided to trim a lot of the video, especially in the bathroom and the primary bedroom, because those spaces had so many changes and it was just ridiculous for such a small house to have such a long video. And one of the things that I did really like to do was that I moved the dining room so that it wasn't on that like sort of a bay window, and instead I placed the Christmas tree in there. I think that it looks really nice, and actually we ended up having a square table for the dining room. So yeah, lots of changes. At the moment I have the cheapest sofa, which I don't like that couch. I don't like the colors on it. It looks kind of like the lighting hits it weird. But I had it there because it was the cheapest one. So when I decided to not stick to a budget, I also decided to get a nicer one. And I actually think that that decision made this space a bit less bland, because it's also a very generic couch. So I ended up having one from the base game as well, but I added some of those new pillows that we got recently in the base game, and I just think that it looks a lot nicer. Like, to start with, that couch is a lot more interesting than this one, but I'm getting way ahead of myself. Right now we just have flipped the bathroom with the office nook, which I thought was a lot nicer. However, for a long time we will have one of those larger windows into the bathroom, and I eventually made that into one of those smaller windows in the same style, but one that I felt was a lot more appropriate for a bathroom. And I was pretty impressed with how well I could fit the, what's that called? It's like a storage thing in the bathroom, and the way that I had it next to the shower and the wastebasket, I felt worked pretty nicely in there. It looks like a pretty practical layout, I suppose. I haven't recorded one of these audios in a very long time, and I think it shows probably. I'm forgetting all of these words that I normally use, and I'm a bit all over the place. But that's because I'm traveling at the moment, and I tried to record as much as I could, but I could only do so much. So I have a few different videos on the channel. They are some winter builds in Tiny Glade. I suppose that they are sort of meant to be ambient videos so that you could listen to the music in the game and watch the build. I have it in real time, so it's a pretty relaxed video, and it's a pretty relaxing game. I really love it. If you don't know it, it is a really cute one. You build little castles or old villages or cottages. So I have a bit of those. You can make them into like ruined castles. They also look like they are straight from a storybook. So I just really love that game, and it is on sale at the moment. But yeah, moving back into the entryway, I decided to add a shelf so that we could have like a coat rack and stuff. And also I added some of those holiday cards in there, which I felt was a very nice decoration. I also have some entryway mats that are holiday themed. I have one outside. I don't remember if I actually added one on the inside, but I also got an umbrella rack, and I got a painting on top of that. It's one of those new paintings we got with the West African update, which I thought had some similar colors to Christmas colors, which I felt would probably match the rest of the house. I also picked the one with a white frame so that it would look a bit more like holiday themed. I also really enjoyed adding those snowflakes to the window, and I added that. It's a rug that you are supposed to add underneath fireplaces. It's like some bricks with a trim, but I really like adding that to pathways, and I have even added that as a flooring in a kitchen once. I also uploaded a video of different designs for kitchens. I sometimes add those. They are like for room inspiration, and they are just stop motion builds because a bunch of those are short videos that I have actually made for the channel. At one point, I just uploaded a bunch of kitchens on my shorts, and other times I pick a theme for a house and I build each room individually. It's basically a compilation video, and it has a bunch of kitchen ideas. So one of those actually has that brick rug as a flooring. Now we have expanded the house again, and the primary bedroom is looking a lot nicer, I think, and more winter themed. It's still far from done because I decided to change several things about this space, especially since now I have decided that I didn't want a budget, so we also made the house bigger again. I actually really liked this child's bedroom. I like how there's the activity table in the corner, and one thing that I really like to do is to add toy boxes as bedside tables. I feel like that has functionality, and also, it looks like a regular bedside table. And also, some of the bedside tables in the game don't look like they have a bunch of storage. So that's something that I like to do a lot of time. But yeah, now the primary bedroom is almost done, I think. I really liked to add that closet and a chair in the corner. That chair actually inspired the couch that I ended up picking for the living room. And I also added some of those holiday cards, but the ones that that children can make on those activity tables, because I thought that it would be nice if the child had actually made those for their parents. So I feel like that made sense. And also, I wanted to have a bigger bookcase here in the office, just because that, I mean, I always want my Sims to have a bunch of books or book storage. That's just because that's how my house is. We really like books, so we have a bunch of them. And the house doesn't feel correct if there aren't like what I think it would be a normal amount of books, which I'm pretty sure my house doesn't have a normal amount of books. But yeah, I wanted to have a larger bookcase and I decorated it also for the holidays. And we have also changed that sofa for that one that I had mentioned, which I think looks a lot nicer, especially since I stopped trying to have things in the red and green color scheme with a bunch of brown. I feel like this more sort of beige and blue theme looks wintry, but also it looks like correct for the holidays, and especially since I changed the flooring to a darker one, it doesn't look cold. It looks a lot cozier, I think. Well, at least that was what I was going for. I really liked how the new dining room looks like. I think that those chairs were a better match for this house. The ones that this house has originally are, I think, are very sad. The table is also, I think, a patio table. But yeah, now we have new appliances, and also the counters aren't white anymore, which as I said, I think it looks a lot cozier because it was looking a bit cold in here, and I thought that it would be fun to add the magnetic board to the fridge, just so that you could have magnets on the actual fridge. Especially since with the new um, event, we are getting more magnets. I thought that it would be a nice thing to add. And also, I discovered that you can actually have some of the postcards, which I don't know, it felt correct to me, especially since you could pretend that that's a magnet instead of a thumbtack. Oh, and I really wanted to have the retro console in the living room because that was part of the previous holiday event. And I really like adding the controllers. They are in debug, but they are kind of halfway into any surface that you put them on. So I got the glass shelf that we got with from one of the kids, and that way I was able to know exactly how high I had to place those. I also decided to have one of the kids' frogs as a tree skirt. The tree actually has some real tree skirts, so your Sims would actually decorate the tree however they choose. And speaking of which, I have uploaded this build to the gallery. You can find the link for that down in the description, or you can also search for my ID, which is Reno, so that your Sims are able to celebrate Winterfest in this house. So thank you so very much for watching. I hope you're having a very nice winter holiday season, and I also hope to see you again soon. Bye everyone!